So help me welcome our 2015 kickoff speaker, Matthew Simrell, Coupon Cloud.
How are you guys doing tonight? Just keep talking while I figure this out. Hey, thanks for the introduction. That was great. I'm Matthew Simrell. I'm the founder and CEO of Coupon Cloud, which you guys already knew now. Ruined the surprise. Thank you. But no, I started this company. I was actually working with Christian on a prior endeavor that we had worked together on called Perked, and it was kind of in the mobile space, consumer loyalty for small businesses, for mom and pop stores. Don't look at that. It's for later. So we were working on that, and it was really interesting to me because it was my first experience with building something in the technology space where where literally you're fabricating your product out of thin air. I mean, your materials are code that's just somebody's sitting there going like this, and poof, you've got something. And to me, that was amazing. That I just built a product with, I mean, outside of my the labor costs, you've got no materials costs. Well, computer, but I mean, it just continues to go. You can sell it over and over and over again. It reproduces itself. That was really exciting to me, and I was like, wow. Now I just got to get a really good idea. I can do something on my own and say, see you later, Christian, I'm out of here. And so I kind of thought about what would make a successful business in that space. And what it was the data. It was the information about the people and why they're interacting with these companies and these products, and going to these restaurants and retail locations to shop on a regular basis, and allowing those business owners to gain insight into how their consumers actually behave. What makes your customers want your product? And that's what we were able to deliver to these clients of ours. And so when I was in my search trying to find an idea, I happened to be at the grocery store one day, and when you're at the grocery store and you've got family and kids and you're going through the line and they're ringing everything up, it can take a while. There's a lot of those beeps, and well, every one of those beeps in my head that's data. And it just kept beeping and beeping and beeping. I was like, okay, that's a lot of data. And I started looking around at all of the other people in the store, and I was like, how can I get that? That's got to be worth something to someone. I mean,
Hey Matt, can you move that mic up? I can't hear you.
Oh. Is that better?
Much better. Thanks, sir.
Okay, so I started looking around at what would essentially get me that data, and I wanted to have something around grocery. There's just not a lot of applications, and as a new entrepreneur in technology, you think about mobile apps. It's inexpensive to build something out and get in the market quickly, and you can gain a massive audience with a mobile app. So I started looking at building a mobile application for the retail grocery space, and we immediately reached out to a local retailer, Costantino's, and talked with some of those folks, and they were intrigued by the idea that we had. It was going to be an application that would give consumers something that was usable. You can go ahead and create a shopping list and have all your stuff in there. Maybe your husband or wife's on their way home and they just need a couple of things. So they highlight them and it just sends you an automatic text message. You get it in your phone. It tells you exactly what you need when you get to the store. We were incorporated with a company called allrecipes.com out of Washington. And basically, if you were on their website, you saw a recipe you wanted, you'd just go ahead and add it into your basket, and they would put all of the ingredients directly into your shopping list. Then as you're going through the store, if you're a parent, you've always got kids there, trying to figure out what to do with their kids while you're shopping, dragging them behind you, or you're pushing the giant car with or truck thing, tractor, or whatever it is these days. Airplane, I saw an airplane recently. And so you're trying to find something to do for your kids. Well, you just hand the phone to your kid, and it's got the camera app works as a barcode scanner. So every time the kid grabs the jug of Tide and puts it in the cart, you can scan the barcode on it, and it takes it right off the shopping list. So you see all your items dropping off the shopping list, and it's giving your kids something to do at the same time. And we're like, this is it. This is going to be, what works. And we thought, this is all really cool stuff for a consumer. And then I started thinking back to Perked and what it takes to actually get a user to use a mobile application over and over and over and over again on a regular basis. And it's difficult. You have to actually have something that's tremendous value. And usually that value has to impact their pocket or emotionally. So we thought, well, this is going to be the arrow right through their heart. We're just going to kill them dead right here. Coupons. There's all of these coupons out there. They're manufacturer issue coupons, so the manufacturer is paying the retailer back for these coupons, right? So if we've got, Sally over here, she buys Tide on a regular basis, and she buys Cheerios on a regular basis, and well, we know we've got coupons for Tide and Cheerios when Sally's going to the store. Why can't we pair these coupon offers with what she's buying anyways, so that now not only does she get Costantino's everyday average prices, low prices, but she gets to save by way of these offers as well. And so she's saving more, and he's gaining a competitive advantage over his consumers, competitors. And so we thought this was just brilliant. And I'm day of the meeting, we're getting ready to go in there and sit down and talk with the folks from Costantino's and tell them how great this is going to be. And we go in there, and I'm all pumped, and we're talking about it, and they essentially said that they don't like coupons. There's a small little bit of information that I missed in there, but coupons, it actually takes them a long time to get that money back. And when they do get it back, it's not that whole dollar off that they discounted at the register for you. They pay a lot of fees and stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and just start this real quick, and it'll just kind of explain how and why it's that they don't like these deals here. Oh my goodness, I am completely not a PC anymore. Aren't you proud, Christian?
I'm right.
I've been assimilated. Although I was Linux before, so that's different. Okay, so this is Coupon Cloud. That's our logo. And by the way, and while I say I built this, I did not build this. What I did build was a physical thing. I built an incredible team. And if there's anything that I can say I did, that's what I did. Because the rest of our team is absolutely phenomenal. And they're the ones that, whenever you guys clap and stuff, they're the ones that did all this. They're amazing. So, back up. Okay, here we go. Is there a blog? One moment, please. Anybody needs a beverage or cookies?
These days, some stores can collect more coupons than paper money. So these little pieces of paper are handled no differently from cash.
The amount that's on that coupon is exactly what they're worth, so we do treat them like cash. When they get to our corporate office, they're all put in one big pile and sent to a clearinghouse.
A clearinghouse is a company that collects and again counts coupons. That's what a North Carolina firm named Inmar does with 2.5 billion coupons a year.
You could circle the earth 9 times with all of those little square pieces of paper.
After Inmar counts the coupons it receives, it bills the manufacturers who offered the discounts in the first place. But the counting doesn't take place in North Carolina. Coupons travel to Del Rio, Texas, and then across the border. Yes, Inmar ships your coupons to Mexico.
We started doing what we do for brands and retailers in 1980, so we were pioneers.
Just the same as back then, workers today still scan and sort every single coupon.
Verify the counts, make sure they're all accurate, and we will spread the money out between the thousands of stores that sent the coupons in.
It's in Mexico, after logging thousands of miles, that coupons finally die in a shredder.
Okay, so if you'd ever wondered what happened to a coupon after you redeemed it, now you know it's still got an incredible journey that it goes on. And that journey for that little piece of paper just to turn back into a dollar for that retailer, is it's very expensive. I mean, you've seen the trucks and all of the workers moving all of these physical pieces of paper around, doing all of this, all in an effort to move $1 from here to here, or 50 cents from here to there, or 25 cents from here to there. And it takes a tremendous amount of time to do that and a lot of effort by a lot of people. And so we saw that as that's our problem. And you know, if you're going to build a business or make a product or whatever you're doing, it should solve a problem first and foremost. I mean, we can solve a problem that's a need, or we can solve a problem that's a want. And I mean, this is something that they need. And so I was immediately like, wait a second, we've got something here. And so after I went home after that meeting, I started looking up to find out why they didn't want to take the coupons. And this was why. And when I saw just how archaic this was, I mean, I grew up in the digital age where, you know, we pay for stuff with plastic, we pay for stuff on our phone, and we move money electronically, and yet we're still doing all this. It was one of those things that kind of made me go, they're not all disrupted. There is still some space out there that can have massive opportunities to be made more efficient through the use of technology. So today, retailers are losing up to 50 cents for every dollar they redeem from a coupon. Manufacturers are losing over $1 billion a year just in coupon fraud. Fraudulent coupons, and then also large-scale redemption fraud, where people go and buy a whole pallet of FSIs, your freestanding inserts that are in your Sunday papers. They'll then create work-at-home programs and put them on Craigslist and start shipping people off stacks of coupons, have them cut them out for pennies on the dollar. And then these people amass millions and millions of dollars worth of coupons, set up fake business entities all over the country, then send those coupons to a clearinghouse where they then get reimbursed for them. There's been groups that have taken the coupon industry for hundreds of millions of dollars in less than 18 months doing stuff just like that. So fraud is very rampant. So we saw there's another problem that we can solve. This is just kind of the life cycle of what you just saw in that video. So you can see it's issued, acquired, redeemed, trucked, counted, checked, eventually. So we decided, you know, this takes 3 months for retailers to receive their reimbursements, and it can take up to 9 months for the manufacturers to get any data back from those coupons. And that's what they're doing this for. They want to know that that piece of paper sold a product. That's what's valuable to them. So we thought, that's a long time to wait to get that valuable information back to you. So we thought, well, let's change the way the landscape looks, and it's going a little slow, and remove the unnecessary components. And by doing that, we can reduce that entire cycle down to less than 1 second. And we can do that by validating the purchases directly at the point of sale, and once we've validated the purchases, moving the money in the form of a micro funds transfer directly between the manufacturer and the retailer. So now when you take a coupon to, say, Target for $1 off on Tide, as soon as that coupon is scanned at the point of sale system calls our software in the cloud, says, this is what we have for a coupon, this is what we have for items in the cart, and it ships up the transaction log, which is the receipt data. So we make sure that, 1, the coupon is legitimate, that it was issued by Procter & Gamble, 2, that the right item is in the product, or in the cart for the purchase. So we do exact product matching. So we know that the right product's there, everything's good to go. We send down an authorization code with a discount total to the point of sale terminal. Point of sale terminal takes off $1 or $4, whatever the total of all of the coupons was. And then when it's finished and the transaction's closed, we get an authorization sent up from the point of sale system that says this transaction's been paid and complete. And then we actually move the money in the form of a micro funds transfer in those little small incremental amounts, whether it's 50 cents or 25 cents or $1 or $3. And so these retailers are receiving this money now in real time, and the manufacturers are also getting back all of this data in real time. So they're able to see all of this happening and gain just deep analytical insights into the true behavior of their consumers as it's happening. So they can make very quick split-second decisions on buying habits and patterns. They can more effectively begin to understand their supply chain and how their products actually move from distribution into the consumers' homes, and how quickly consumers are actually moving products through as they have them in inventory in their own homes. So we're able to reduce that by quite a bit, or we were pretty proud of it. And we thought that it was awful expensive, that what they were charging before. So we thought for the retailers, I don't know if you guys know much about the grocery business, but there's not a lot of margin in that business anymore. There's this, it's a little startup down in Arkansas or something, that they decided to sell stuff cheaper, and so now there's not a lot of money in the grocery business, and so we thought, well, we'll just make it free for the retailers because it's hard to sell them anything anymore. And then for the manufacturers, we'll just charge them 6 cents per redemption. Well, today, if you read the back of any coupon, it'll say, they pay the retailer the face value of the coupon plus 8 cents. So that's a 25% discount for them. So that's not a bad deal. So that's how we make money. So today, the way our platform works is coupons issued by the manufacturer using our management platform that we've built. So it's not just all of this. We have an entire coupon management platform that also acts as a gated workflow management, as well as a communication tool that allows large manufacturers like Procter & Gamble and General Mills and Kellogg's to communicate between, well, one, internally among their own creative teams, but also with their third-party agencies. So now they're uploading assets and various stuff. We actually generate all the GS1 barcodes for them directly on our platform as well, so that funny-looking barcode you see on a computer, or not on a computer, on a coupon, was generated by a shopper marketing manager on their computer using our software. And basically handle all that. It gets complicated whenever you start going there. So there's your coupon. We made it. So it gets issued. This is all funny looking, by the way, because it was done in a different program. Consumer acquires it. They take it to the store. They redeem it, where it's validated and turned into money. It's given right to the retailer. So now the retailer receives 100% of the face value of that coupon, and he gets it in real time. So just to give you an idea of the size of the market, there's 315 billion coupons issued in 2000, actually that's from 2011. Last year there were 329 billion. It's a $14 billion industry just clearing those paper coupons, just moving that money around. The clearinghouses are pulling in about $14 billion. And it's 99% paper. This industry has not evolved into digital yet because of the lack of controlled distribution that digital doesn't give them. They can't issue a coupon for $1 off on Tide and expect that they're going to get 5 million redemptions, and all of a sudden they get 50 million. That's a lot to gamble with if you're a company like that. So our platform can give them a way to do that downstream. So right now, digital is less than 0.1% of all grocery store coupons. That's just how new this is into this particular market. And it's also the biggest part of coupons in society as it is. So basically what we do is we take all of those clearinghouses and we wipe them off the face of the map. We don't need them anymore. And then all of the other guys that you know and love that are out there, your coupons.com, Retail Me Not, Red Plum, the last issue you get in the Sunday paper, all of those folks, we don't see them as competitors. Those become our partners. Those are our distribution partners. And we push all of the information that we get from the manufacturers directly to them. So then they can take it and make sure you guys get it. And then it's also delivered to you in a relevant way. So the one thing that a lot of people would say to me whenever I first had this idea that I'm going to get all these manufacturers to do all the same thing was, like, good luck. Do you know how many brands are in a store? That's a lot of companies to get to do a lot of the same things. And then I kind of got worried about that a little bit myself. Started, as I'm walking through the store, I'm going, this is a big bunch of customers I'm going to have to get to make this really work. But then I realized that there's this thing that's happened over the last few decades called consolidation. And now you can see that like 85% of all grocery store shelf brands are controlled by just a handful of companies now. There's actually less than 10 companies that control 85% of all products. So, and that's who you guys want to sell your stuff to, right? Or maybe, I don't know. That's what I want to do. But so we were already working with those guys at the time. We've now added Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, Unilever. I think pretty much most of them. PepsiCo, we haven't talked to them yet, but we've been busy with the other folks. I'm going to skip through this because this has all changed. We're now way past that. Again, there's that team that I told you, that's what I built. That one little part there. And then our advisory board. These guys are just absolutely incredible. I got really lucky early on when I had this idea and I came up with this great name, Coupon Cloud. I thought, that's awesome. What a great name. And then I went to buy it and it's like, oh, you can't get it. It's already, somebody has it. And so I ended up meeting this gentleman, Jacob Bailey. And I'm sure you guys have all had those just kind of odd encounters where you meet someone at the right time that can offer you the help that you need in doing something. If you're building something, he was that guy. He was one of the very first guys at this company called Overstock.com, and he and a group of guys that were there in the early days left at the height and cashed out and made some decent money there. And then they went and worked for this other company that was kind of getting going called Amazon. And while they were with Amazon, they built a product recommendation engine. They thought this would be really useful for Amazon customers, that if you're on their site and you're looking at stuff that, hey, we can put other stuff that's relevant to what you're looking at in front of you, and maybe you'll buy that too. And so they patented it and pitched it to the folks at Amazon, and Amazon said, no, we don't want that. Maybe find something a little bit better and come back, or if you can tweak it a little bit and make it work, we might be interested. And Jake and a few of his buddies took off, and they went and said, well, we'll take it and we'll go try it ourselves and see if anybody else wants it. Well, today Rich Relevance is the largest product recommendation engine on the planet. It's used by Overstock.com, it's used by Walmart, it's used by Target, it's used by about any web property you go on. And they actually use that engine as a way to monetize their own web properties. So when you're on Walmart.com and you're looking for a product and you see all these products that are put up in front of you, 90% of those are paid placement advertisements. Most people don't realize that. But they also went ahead and signed Amazon as a client a few years ago too, after Amazon couldn't quite get theirs to work as well, which I thought that was pretty neat. So anyways, we've had some great advisors, and that's been very beneficial to us. But what we really think we have is something that, like I said earlier, is disruptive. And there's not a lot of companies that, get to say, we can change the way an entire industry operates. And we just feel that we're one of those companies that can really kind of change the whole dynamic of the way a process is done within an entire multi-billion-dollar industry. And so we're trying to make things happen.
When did you start?
September of 2013.
And how many stores do you have? Is it the store you get or the manufacturer you get, and the stores then have to capitulate? Excuse me.
Well, we're not actually processing at point of sale right now.
You're not?
No. We're probably a year away from processing live at point of sale. And a lot of that is we're working with a third party who's handling our point of sale integrations. And it may be sooner than that. It's all just there's been some recent changes in upper management within this company, and we were very good friends with the guy that is no longer there anymore. So, but we have some other backups as well.
Are you patented up so nobody can?
Yeah, and we're securing additional IP all the time. One thing that we found in going into this industry in particular is that this wasn't the only archaic old way that they did things. There's all kinds of rooms for improvement. There's so much opportunity for efficiency within almost every one of their processes that involves us. I mean, when you've got, the most powerful companies in the world are managing entire business units on, spreadsheets. It's alarming. I mean, you begin to wonder, what does IT do all day? I mean, with Procter & Gamble, they set up FTP sites so that they can share image files back and forth between agencies, but I don't know if anybody knows what that means, but it's pretty boring that they do that. Go ahead.
Is it designed to have the manufacturer send you the coupon before it's made public?
Yes. So we actually handle from the very inception. So if you're a craft and you're going to do a campaign for a Cheerios, I have to make Cheerios, macaroni and cheese. Your brand manager is going to go in there, and we've kind of already been a little disruptive with our management platform. I should touch on that a little bit. That GS1 data bar that I was talking about, the funny looking barcode that you see on a coupon, that, just to generate that alone, could require them to have up to 2 suppliers. One to generate the barcode number, which is a 74-character number that can be read by the point of sale system. And the other part of that is the symbology, which is the image that you see and I see on the coupon, which is read by the scanner. And so they could have 2 different suppliers, one doing the barcode encoding, and then another one doing the symbology and the imaging. And we actually just read through all of the ISO standards and documentation about both of them and just built all of that functionality into our software. So now these brand managers and shopper marketing managers do it themselves just with little drop-down menus. And so they're creating their own GS1 data bars in a matter of seconds versus waiting weeks to get those back. And so we see everything from that very, very initial starting point of when a coupon's coming into the system. And it's up to them how far advanced they start stacking those and holding them in the management platform.
Any additional questions, we'll do on the mic because the people on the internet cannot hear.
Oh.
So hang tight. Right here, right there. There you go.
So as the typical coupon that you receive as junk mail coming to your house, will that be a thing that will disappear and won't be into your network?
I don't know what you're talking about, junk mail. No, I'll be real honest. I've actually never used coupons. I can make them, but I've actually still never used one. Well, I've been to the store like to test them to make sure our barcodes scan and stuff like that. But so yeah, I agree with you. What we would ultimately like to see would be those offers becoming more relevant to you, and then also to see kind of a transformation of the way we view coupons and what a coupon really is, and then also what a coupon is to the issuer, the manufacturer. We think a coupon can be just that. It can be that vehicle for them to be able to make sure that what they're putting in front of you is actually relevant. I mean, I don't, if I'm a single guy now, I don't need, feminine products. I don't need, mailbox full of that stuff. Or, I've got kids that are grown and gone. I don't need baby stuff advertised to me. So now we can start to cut down on the amount of it, but make what we do get more relevant. Make it, to where it's in tune with what we actually do and what we buy and what we might be inclined to try. That's what we would ultimately like to see. Where when you use that coupon, it's not just for them to move that one product off the shelf. That coupon becomes a token for data, because now they get to see, hey, he bought this product, but he also buys these other types of products.
Yeah, I understand. I guess I didn't make myself clear though, but the typical coupon that comes through the mail, that will be a thing of the past once a manufacturer signs up with you and is using your product.
No, we're not. We're essentially a back-end processing unit, so we don't care if it's digital or paper. We can process it at the point of sale the same way for either consumer. What we do is try to give everyone as many options as possible. So one thing that we'll be doing is building out SDKs for like mobile developers who already have apps that are on your phone, to where they could add a scanner. So now you get a coupon out of your mailbox that you want, but you don't want to cut it out and do all that stuff. You just scan the barcode on it. Now it's stored in an account that you can just scan one barcode at the point of sale and it'll redeem them all. You don't have to cut them out. Now you just turned a piece of paper into something digital, but it's still all tracked. So,
One of the things that you mentioned during your presentation, I thought, wow, there's a huge play there for cash, is when you said real-time information and real-time data. And right now, they're just mailing out, 329 billion coupons a year or something. I think that's the figure you said out there. And they're just doing mass mailing, just blanketing, and hoping that they'll have some success there. So what I see there, if you have real-time information, if I can get a real data response of what hit visually versus the coupon I ran last week, and I've got a 10% spike of coupon redemption because I used this artwork versus something that's tracked 9 months ago, I think that data would probably generate you as much revenue as the 6 cents per redemption if you guys start mining that data and selling it back out.
So what are you doing in terms of data warehousing? That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, we'll store it to where it's accessible for a period of time, and then we'll start to move it off into silos. You know, I mean, really the most valuable data is the data we're seeing today. I mean, if I could have, you know, all the data on all of you guys for, you know, everything from 5 years ago and back, all the way to your beginning of your life, that's far more data than if I could have just from you know, last Thursday to today. But last Thursday to today is what's actually worth anything to me at all. And so we're storing it, and we're building out analytics products that allow them to see what's happening with their products. So if you're say, you know, Procter & Gamble, you can see that whenever you put out a coupon for $1 off on Tide, that not only does it create a lift in sales in Tide products, but you also just subsequently create a lift in sales in Duracell batteries, which is another portfolio brand of yours. And so you can begin to see those paralleling product trends. Or maybe you're Coca-Cola and you see that your product parallels with, you know, another completely separate company. Your product parallels with Doritos. Well, maybe you guys use the same agency. And you can say, hey, why don't you guys work together on this a little bit, get us both out there in front of the same, those same buyers at the same time, cut our ad buys down, and let's do this more efficiently. So there's a lot of different ways, and we still don't fully understand all the ways that are possible. I mean, this is very, very new. So, but
Question over here, Matt.
All you really have to do is just land the granular data somewhere.
Mhm.
That's really it.
yeah, and
The ETL tools will pick it up and squirt it somewhere else.
yeah, and that's what we're working with right now is trying to figure out how they need us to pipe it into them essentially, and then also what we're going to charge for it.
Limited file, let it go.
Yeah.
Matt, a question over here? Go ahead.
How will the consumers find the coupons?
Same way you do today. We don't change any of that. You'll probably find more of them digitally because we can give the manufacturers a new way to expire their coupons. And that would be through a redemption limit. So now you can receive a coupon that, you know, you get in the mail and it says, you know, it expires on, you know, July 1st, but it could also expire after 1.5 million redemptions. And you never know unless you log in to see how many have been redeemed, but it allows them to control that distribution.
All right, question front row right here.
Brilliant, first of all. It's always fun to see when it's kind of an archaic piece. Last week was air filters, this week it's coupons. I mean, usually it's the big tech and Google and have you. Ton of questions about teams, so kind of pick where you want. But like, did you start initially trying to do it all yourself and then realized, or did you start from day one of, I need a team?
No, I know myself pretty well. I wouldn't have got anything done. And I tell this to our team all the time. It's like, you know, I mean, I can never do by myself what we can do together. I mean, I could never even come close, not in 10 lifetimes. Just because I really did bring on really, really smart people, and that's been a big difference. And then not only did I bring smart people together to do this, but then I put them around other smart people, and so they're able to work with other smart people as well. And really just kind of benefit and grow, and we've been just really very lucky in that regard. What's that? I ask people. I'd ask this guy, or I'd ask that guy, or anywhere I'd meet someone. If I was having a conversation with someone and they said that they worked in a particular field, and oh, hey, do you know anybody that might do this? And believe it or not, people will actually recommend people. It's amazing. And then whenever you find like the guy that won't work for you, then you go find another one that will. There's been a lot of that. It's difficult when you're new to like recruit the best talent, and especially in Kansas City, we have a really difficult mindset in terms of it's okay or it's not okay to go work for a startup, or it is okay to go work for a startup. One example I use is you go to San Francisco out in the valley, and you get a kid right out of college, just graduated with a computer science degree from Stanford, and he's willing to go and work for Oogly Doo, who does who knows what, some mobile app that nobody knows what it does, and he's going to go work for that company for 2-3 years of his life for peanuts, and still eat ramen noodles, and live in a smelly house with a bunch of guys that haven't showered or slept in days because they're just sitting in front of computers writing code. But he's going to do that and take that risk because he knows his friend's older brother was the 12th employee at Facebook, and you should see his yacht. So they've got these stories, and when you talk to that same computer science student in Kansas City, he just graduated from ICKC, and you're telling him how great your company is and all this opportunity that you have, and the flexibility that you've got, being a small startup, and you've got this great office space, and they've got a hot tub and the gym and the pool table and the club room, and there's a putting green and all these cool things that you think would be beneficial to a young person entering the workforce, and they say no, I think I'm going to take the job with Cerner because they've got really good benefits, and I'm getting married in a few weeks, and we're going to settle down and start having kids, and it's just it's a totally different mindset than what you have in other real technology hubs and real entrepreneurial and startup ecosystems that we don't have here. And I think that's something we need to change. There's several things we need to really focus on, but that's one that I think is one that I'd like to help to change if I can.
Matthew, another question right back here. You're next.
This is actually a follow-on to that, because I noticed you actually have a very good set of advisors, and outside of the one that you met through serendipity, how did you go about finding these? Because I think at least one of them may have been local.
Yeah, actually, George Hansen, the gentleman on the left there, he's the CEO of Enterprise Center in Johnson County. I don't know if you've ever been out there or not. They have great classes out there, and then they're affiliated with Mid-America Angels, so if you guys are ever needing money, which I doubt any of you guys need money, they're a good group to talk to for that. But no, so George, there's another company, and what I do is I read a lot. And there was another company in Kansas City that had done something in the consumer packaged goods coupon space, and it was really kind of interesting. And what they were doing, it was probably a little premature at the time when they were first starting this, but this was back in, I wanted to say like 2003, 2004, somewhere in there. A gentleman named Brian Brinkley, Sprint employee, set off to, well, I don't think he set off, I think he got like released or let go or downsized or whatever they call that they do at Sprint. Vacation. Sabbatical, yeah. You get a bigger office, you can put whatever furniture you want in, and you get to make the payment on it too. But no, so he went and started this company to try and digitize those paper coupons, and he built a website that manufacturers could go and add their coupons to it, and then consumers could go on there and you could take your Price Chopper card and you tie it to the website, and it would tie those coupons that you got off the website to your store loyalty card, and then you could redeem them, and through point-of-sale integration, they could validate the purchases, and then they could ship off the electronic file to the manufacturers for processing. And it started off okay until retailers started using it, and then manufacturers were like, yeah, no, we're going to go back to working with those two clearinghouses because that was much easier to manage than trying to work with all of these retailers on an individual basis. And what they'd done through that process is they figured out that there was a true need and an opportunity there to take these coupons digital, but there was also some other areas that had problems as well. They needed to fix stuff with that whole accounts payable department at the large manufacturers that don't want to write 40,000 checks to 40,000 different retailers. So what they ended up with was a company that had built a product and an engine that functioned and it worked. It just, it wasn't the right time, and they didn't make a lot of money at doing it. But there was other uses for it. And so after 5 years and lots of millions of dollars in investment that they'd raised to build this out, they decided the investors, which was Open Air Equity Partners, was the primary investor in that group, Lance LeMay and Ron LeMay and those guys down the plaza. they said, well, let's see if we can get anything for this, and we'll try and sell it. And so they brought in this guy here, that George Hansen that you saw there, who had just sold another company in Wichita called Corporate Lodging Consultants, and he sold that little gig that he built for, I think they got $300 million for CLC. I sold that to Bain. Prior to that, he'd sold CarStar for half $500 million. And then they brought him in to do Zave, and I think it's kind of funny for the people that don't know George to know that, like, his resume prior to Zave. Then he comes in and sells Zave in less than a year to Google for 94 million, somewhere in there. So that was pretty impressive for a company that was doing $300K a year in revenue.
We have another question right here.
I wanted to ask you about the money side of it. You spoke a little bit about the Angel Network, and I was just curious, was this your full-time job that you've been doing this for the last year, or have you been funded through something? Just kind of if you could expand on how much time you've spent on getting this developed and how you've been paid through it.
To date, since I started this, I've made, it's $320 some. I actually got I haven't cashed it yet, but I got my first paycheck. I paid myself for the first time in you know, it's been close to 2 years now, so quite a while. But no, as far as like funding goes, it's hard. I mean, it's really hard. When people say starting your own business is the hardest thing you're ever going to do, no, it's starting the business is the easy part. It's getting money to like keep like the thing breathing and to keep your employees where they're not like ready to run out the door, because there's a lot of startups in Kansas City that are, you know, they're busy, but we have like real employees. We have real SUI that we pay, you know, every payroll, and we have, you know, real unemployment, and we have real health insurance that's, you know, like 10 grand a month, and I mean real bills, and you can only do that out of your pocket and out of your friends and family's pockets for so long before you need to start going to, you know, venture capital groups and angel groups and meeting these people that can actually fund your business to take you to where you need to go. And it's hard, and I used to bitch about it. I'd be like, there's no money in this town, and it's just because these people are so conservative that they won't invest in the right idea, in the right product, at the right place, at the right time. And it's not that at all. It should be hard. I mean, if it was easy, think about how much money would be wasted. I mean, by these people that are willing to give up. I mean, because we were literally taking our last dying breath of air, and we ended up with a Christmas miracle. I mean, we're at DST. You know, the CFO is in there. We're closing a deal. They're wiring money to us on Christmas Eve of this year. That was like, we were like, we weren't all the way at the top of the fishbowl, but we were definitely belly up, and we were towards the top. It gets tough. I mean, I've thrown up more than once. I use this a lot, and it's kind of funny because I don't know where I came up with it, but I say it all the time now because everybody's like, "How's it going?" And, "Oh, great." And they're like, "You put everything into this, and you have blood, sweat, and ulcers," because that's what it takes. It really is. There's no time to cry. I mean, but it does. It takes blood, sweat, and ulcers, and if you're not willing to do it, then I mean, share the idea with somebody else who is, because stuff still needs to get done.
Is there anybody else other than you that is in a partnership or an equity control position, or from fundraising, are you using that as your leverage? Obviously, they're going to want an equity stake, but to take on to get market penetration nationwide, what you're talking about is such a Herculean task. You know, if I'm looking at a map of the United States and all those brands and those 10 major providers, that would be so overwhelming to me. Obviously, you need somebody that's got a huge footprint and the money to back it up. How did you go about finding a relationship with DST?
With DST, it was, so when I should probably back up to when I first started meeting the guys from DST. We went through the Spark Lab business accelerator. I'm gonna use my phonics. And going through that program, we we were introduced to a lot of really great folks, and DST is one of the big sponsors of Spark Lab, and they're also a big supporter of the startup community and just the entrepreneurial community of Kansas City, as it is. And so they've had this initiative to try and I can't remember what they call it. It doesn't even matter because they probably had 20 meetings just to figure out what to call it. But they have this initiative to really help build the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Kansas City. I didn't even know what they did. I mean, I had no clue. DST, I mean, data something systems. I didn't know. And whenever I found out what they did, it was really like, wow, that's kind of what we do. I don't know if you guys know what DST does, but they process mutual fund transactions. So when you move money in a 401k account, there's probably 5 or 10 funds that were just affected. Well, every one of those funds that were affected, money was moved, paperwork was processed, transactions were validated, commissions were paid. They could have 8, 10 different payees on every time one of those things happens. And so it's a very similar engine to what we're building with coupons, except they built this.
All that information on spreadsheets.
Yeah, and that's what they. Then it goes back to then it goes to the spreadsheet. Exactly. And so it was really interesting to me to see how they were doing this, 25 years ago, and that here we're able to come and do almost the same thing and completely, just a little bit over here, and be just as disruptive as they were whenever they started. And they're at this point in time, they're looking for ways to reinvent themselves. So they're looking for what's next for DST. What's going to mutual funds aren't the big hot investment that they used to be. They're looking at how are we going to replace this revenue that's slowly been declining over the last decade. And it's not just replacing a little bit of revenue. They're not looking for a company that they can potentially acquire for $20 or $30 million down the road. A company that might be doing $5, $8, $10, $15 million a year in revenue. That's not going to do anything for them. I mean, it takes a lot to move the needle when you're doing $2 to $3 billion a year in revenue. So what they saw in us is an opportunity to not only move that needle, but we could actually replace that needle. And so we're working on several different projects, but one that we were working on even before DST is when you think about the validating purchase or transactions at the point of sale and being able to quickly and efficiently move money between 2 or more entities, we can completely reduce waste and fraud and processing costs for food stamp programs, both the state and federal level. I mean, almost virtually overnight. I mean, you'll never have a politician that's campaigning and the guy is running down the street with his lobster going, "Look what I bought with my food stamps." Nope, no more politicians getting hung out to dry when we're done. But they'll pay for it. I mean, we'll save them a ton of money, but we'll still earn decent revenue. I mean, we could generate just doing state and federal food stamp processing. We could do it for 1/3 of what Fidelity charges and still bring in $6 billion in revenue. That's just processing food stamp transactions. So that's just one. Right now, DST also has a health systems section of their business. And with DST Health Systems and Argus, and whenever you go to the pharmacy, right, you take your prescription card. Well, if you're an entrepreneur, some of you guys don't have those. I didn't for a long time, so you hand them your card and they scan it, and all of a sudden it's like they know that your copay is $10. If you've ever wondered how they know that, it's not because they looked at it, it's they just scan the card on the back of it. It accessed your system. It made sure that you're up to date on your payment, to make sure that the pharmacy is going to get paid, and to make sure that everything's happening properly. Well, that card is no different than a coupon. Now there's money that needs to move from your insurance company to that pharmacy, because they just sold you that product at a far greater discount than what you got on your Cheerios with the piece of paper coupon. So the pharmaceutical industry is, they've been financing themselves on the back of the pharmacies for years now by basically just, here, you guys buy all this product from us at this price, and whenever you get enough of them, let us know, and we'll go ahead and we'll let the let the health insurance companies go ahead and pay you. Some pharmacies are, I mean, their ARs can be, you know, in the tens of millions of dollars, just in ARs for small pharmacies.
Another question right back here.
I had a question about the microfunds transfer software. Is that what you developed? Is that your proprietary, or are you using a third-party system? And I don't know, is that something that maybe you are looking into developing your own platform?
I thought I was until I started talking to DST and finding out like whenever we think we find something that's really good and economical and cheap and efficient, and then you go and talk to a company that moves $40 trillion a year, they get a better deal than you ever will. So some of those thoughts kind of went out the window. Now we will continue to use what we set out to use initially, which is a very great, innovative company that I'd suggest any of you are selling anything or sending anybody money, but Dwala, Ben Milne, the guys from Dwala up in Iowa are incredible, and they've got a great solid product that works and is cheap. You can move money between one person and another, or one entity and another. Anything under $10 is free. There's no transactional processing fees. Anything over $10, so $10 to $10,000, $100,000, whatever. I think there might be a limit for certain accounts, but you can move that for 25 cents. So it's just flat fee, just 25 cents per transaction. And so it's very cost effective. And Ben started that company, just out of his own pain of, he owned a company selling electronics and, selling a lot of stuff online and, electronics websites and eBay and, Amazon and stuff like that. Credit card processing fees will eat you alive. And I mean, we don't think about it because we're so used to paying all these fees. But I mean, when you think of the fact that almost 3% of everything that moves in the form of electronic money is being collected by these little electronic, I don't know. It's almost like being held up, so there's no gun.
Matthew, that's it for questions. We have to went longer than we normally do, but that was fascinating. Fantastic job. Give him a hand.